Hi, this is Wendy from Willow in the Wood, and today is day 2 of our 10-day challenge of hope. How are you doing today? Write in the comments and let me know how you're doing today. And also, if you watched yesterday's challenge having to do with your emotions, and if you followed through on what it was that I asked you to do. I'm going to get going today and talk about having our own personal space. Ooh, this is important, isn't it? Especially when we are most likely sheltering in place with somebody else, potentially a family. You might have children with you. You might be living with your parents. You're staying with your parents or your spouse. Now, this is not us running away and not wanting to be with other people. Having our own space is very healthy. It can provide you freedom to have free thought and be creative. It can provide space for you to get work done uninterrupted. It can just give you space to think. So I know all of our situations are different. Not everybody has the opportunity to have a room or an office for themselves. If you do, that's great. Chances are you've got a room that's just full of stuff, just boxes, things that you're not using. To have a space that is just for you can be so very, very effective in how you show up to life. This can be a very small space. It can be a large space. It can be inside. It can be outside. But what's most important is it's going to be a space for you. If you have your own bathroom, maybe you can just get some extra fluffy rugs or something in there that's going to make it comfortable for you. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a certain area and turn it into a place that is just yours. All right? So let's talk about outside. Now it's the time of year where spring is happening out there. It may be rainy. I just talked to somebody that it snowed the other day. So it might not be to where you can go sit outside for long periods of time at this moment. However, there is going to come a time with the seasons changing, and now is a perfect time to start getting ready. So I had talked to one client, and she wanted to create this beautiful garden. She wanted benches around a circular flower bed. And how lovely to have just an outside place that you can go and relax. At my last house, we had a beautiful covered porch. It had a little table and chairs, and it had a couple relaxing chairs too out there. And it was my place to go. It was beautiful. So we all need to have our own space. You just think about it. Have you ever had somebody like get in your face? Well, even though somebody's not in your face right now, it can feel that way because we are in our homes together. You can have a loft. You can put a tent outside, for goodness sakes. Just make sure that you separate your space in some way. You might have, if it's just like a chair and a little table, could you put a curtain or a divider up? Maybe just a big potted plant. And create this space and fill it with things that bring you joy. You get to decorate it. Do you like seashells and things of the ocean? Do you want candles? Do you want something that, you can use your essential oils to have it smell a certain way? You can put in ambient music. My husband loves to listen to music, and I like most of his music that he plays, but honestly, there are times that I just want peace and quiet. The other thing about having our own space is that we can be uninterrupted for periods of time. Now, anybody who's ever had children and tried to go use the restroom, Little ones knocking on the door, mommy, mommy, daddy. And you just need some time alone. It doesn't mean you don't love the people that you're in the house with. It just means that you need some time alone. I was taught that when you are distracted, it takes you back to square one. If you think about a steam train, and they put the wood in and they get the fire stoked, and eventually, ever so slowly, after a lot of fire, after a lot of steam, the train starts to slowly move. Well, if somebody were to interrupt or stop that train by putting like a piece of wood, a small piece of wood under its wheel, it would stop it dead in its tracks, even though it's this huge, huge train. However, if that train got going and got going at a good speed, you could put a blockade of wood up and that train would just plow right through it. That's what we need. We need to build up steam so that we can accomplish what we want to accomplish, or just have some downtime, some us time. So I've got a little sign on my door that says, "In session, do not disturb." And I use it also when I am working on a project that I just need to get done. I do not want to have to go back to square one. You might have heard of this concept called the flow. When you are working on something and you get to a certain point and you're making real progress, you're focused on it, and it's going, it's flowing, your creative juices, your mental capacity is just right on target, and then somebody interrupts you. "Oh, I wanted to show you this video." Even if the dog comes in and sits down next to me, it will just, it's like, "Oh, hi." And then I turn back to my work and I'm thinking, "Oh, shoot, where was I?" That can get us back to that standing still on the tracks situation again. And we don't want that. So it's great for working, if you're working at home, to have the space of your own. And let's see, even just, some quiet time to be able to read a book. This space can be permanent, like my office is, or it can be temporary. Now, having our own space is vital to our emotional, psychological, and spiritual well-being. It's really easy to lose ourselves in relationships. And it's happened to me. I know a friend of mine has moved out of her own house and she's been living with her parents, which she loves her parents. But when she started talking about her life, she said, "Everything's for them. I just concentrate on taking care of them, and they're lovely, and we watch shows together, and we are just together all the time." And she's at home. She doesn't even have the ability to go out and work. It's important that we take time for ourselves. All right? It really is. So today's challenge for you is to create a space for yourself. Make it just for you. I want to see pictures. So when you create a space for yourself, and I know it might take a couple days, but I want you to start thinking about it and start actually taking action on it today. Cleaning out that room that doesn't have a purpose. Cleaning out that space. Maybe it's just a corner of a room. Do you have a desk? I mean, I'm thinking that even a TV tray and a chair with a nice little picture on the wall or something, just a place for you to go, and you know it's for you. And when you go there, you know it's a place that you have no other responsibilities but what you place on yourself. That is your challenge for today. Now, here's a little bonus. We're going to do a little exercise here. It's important for us to raise our energy. And I noticed this morning, this is just an ongoing challenge that we've got. This morning I looked at my phone and I went to Google, and it's got certain things that it just puts up, and every one of them was a negative thing. I started to feel anxious. This is bombarding us from all directions. This is why having your own space that you can get away from that is also good. But yesterday, I forgot to look at the news. I got so busy. I did my challenge for you. I did laundry. I got my little seed boxes. I've got seed trays. I went and filled them up with soil. I found some Easter baskets and Easter grass, and I put a little ad out there that they were free if anybody wanted them because, you know, non-essentials might not be available and Easter's coming up. And my line that I've drawn in the sand is that I'm not going to look at any news after noon. And it got to be afternoon and I realized, oh, oops, I guess I don't need to look at that today. I went the entire day without subjecting myself to any news whatsoever. And oh my gosh, it felt really good. Although I felt a little bit anxious this morning, it's like, oh, I've got to check in, I've got to check in. Are you feeling that way sometimes? So I did, and it wasn't good. It didn't help me whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it made me stumble in trying to get in front of you today to do this. And that's what that does. It distracts us, doesn't it? So, energy. I learned this in Tai Chi. We take our hands and they become like our needles, our acupuncture needles. And I want you to try this with me. It may look strange, and that's okay. I'm willing to look strange for you guys. So take your hands and just lightly tap on your head. And what you'll notice after a very short time is your head starts to tingle, right? Go down to the back of your neck, above your ears, forehead. Do it on your face. This is getting the blood flow to your body. And you can do this all over with the exception you don't want to do it here in your carotid artery. Although you can do it here in front, get your thymus gland, which helps with your immune system. And do this with your fingers all over your body. You can pat yourself, and you will notice that you are all tingly all over. And that is something that you can do even if you don't have a lot of mobility to get your blood flow. If you happen to be sedentary and you're sitting in a chair, you can do resistance training, just like pushing, just pretend like you're just pushing. You're still working these muscles. This is something that's interesting, that there were athletic coaches for Olympic athletes, and they would have them go through psychologically, they would think about running the race. They would get there. They would have them at the starting mark or whatever it was, and they would just have them think about going through the entire race. And they found out that their muscles actually fired even though they weren't doing things. So do something to get moving today, get that energy flowing for yourself, and create yourself a space that's just for you. I would love to see pictures. I want to see pictures. I want to hear how you did with last week's challenge down below, or yesterday's challenge. And also, I would love to see pictures of your space. If you have a space already, maybe it needs to be cleaned. Boy, if I turn this camera around, you would see that that's something that I need to do today. So I'm doing this challenge for myself. I'm cleaning my space. I'm cleaning out some of the junk that's on the floor back there and my desk. And I'm going to create this lovely warm space. So I hope you have a wonderful day. It's possible to have a wonderful day. And this is me, Wendy at Willow in the Wood, wishing you a beautiful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.